Yeah, this is Deborah LeeAnn calling in from Inertia.
And Suzanne Joy. Mm.
Mm.
Today, I think we are going to be talking about Gene Key 9, which is written by Richard Rudd. And this is, I think Deborah and I are just kind of slogging through some inertia right now to have some determination. So the shadow is inertia. And the gift that finally arrives after we get going is determination and step by step. And then the acidic state, or the highest essence of this key, is all about invincibility. Once we get to that stage of just opening up to the cosmos and allowing that light to come through.
Yeah, I love how uh, in his audio transmission in the 64 ways he talks. Richard Rudd talks about inertia is very often when you look up at a mountain before you start your hike or in the middle of the hike or and you're like, oh my God. I mean, all you see is this huge climb and you just it's like immediately I know we lose all energy to go,
And like,
I wanted to do this, really, I signed up for this. So I love that because he said if you look down at your feet you'll be captivated, and that's where we this is all about the small steps to get to where we want to go. And I'm a quantum leap person, so I'd rather do that. But
so
no,
if you're feeling the slog or you're barely, wanting to get out of bed, it's okay. Just take a monumentous breath and take one step.
yeah, it all begins with one step. And I, it took me like three listenings to get some of the gems that I wanted to share because I thought this just feels like our world right now. Like, and did you happen to note the reactive and the repressive?
Hmm.
Yeah. Do you want to speak to that? Because I think that that might help people to recognize, oh,
Okay, so the repressive nature is the reluctant one who won't take the leap. It's you have that inner reluctance to step outside of the safety mark, like outside of your comfort zone.
yeah.
So you're just holding yourself back from experiences. Whereas the reactive nature, it's a totally different kind. They are over and over. They're the escapist who won't stay with anything in one path. They're just expressing their energy all over the place. And really, this key is about the lack of energy efficiency.
Which is something you and I have been talking about for 10 years.
Yeah.
And it's true. And the one thing that I found fascinating, the line that I actually underlined in my book was about the highly restless and fidgety, as though nothing inside them can stay still. And I think I know I have felt that because like it's like you sit down because you just want to be quiet for a minute, and then you get up because you're like, oh, I got to do that, or that's calling my attention, or it's what is that we're so afraid of being still, of being quiet, of turning off and turning away from our phones, and I'm guilty of that one. So I think that's my way of it showing up. Yes, sometimes it feels like I can't hardly move, but and the fearfulness of that. But very often it's that frenetic, I don't want to be still because I might have to face something I don't want to face. So,
Well, and I also recognize that there's those times in our life where I love how at the I Ching of it is the taming of the small.
Mm,
And so you're letting life rule you based on all of these external conditions rather than you recognizing that you have the power all along to make those choices and choose where you want your energy to go and what makes the most impactful choice of where you put your energy.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Um, that's so, and I think very often our minds are so full that it's hard to focus on what is it that's, and I was having a conversation with myself this morning, really, why do you go there versus knowing this would be the better way to go? And I listened because my body was like, but that's the easy way. That's the way we're, and I thought, wow. So I'm going to have to do some work to change that habit or that pattern within me. So, yeah, I would love to talk about when we feel the inertia, whether it's the frenetic kind or the fearful kind, stuck kind. What is the way to get to determination? Which to me, we just talked about that force, strength, majesty. And I'm like, I get confused sometimes with determination, like powering through. And that's not what he's talking about here, right?
No, I really think that this energy is more about intentionality,
Mm,
creating the intention. And I think one of his quotes is, intentionality is a magical act. Just putting your focus and intention on one thing is, you're calling what you truly want and you're laser focused and you're taking that one step. Doesn't mean that you're going to do the whole thing in one fell swoop. It means that that act, as you make your choice in that energy, in that stream, then the universe is going to kind of conspire with you to go, okay, that's what you want. So let's, put all your energy behind that.
right.
And so
Right.
the momentum builds by taking that action.
But it starts with us.
Exactly. It has to start within.
And even
Nobody
if it's
else
a
can do
prayer,
that
right?
for us.
Right. And he was saying, even if it's a prayer that you repeat daily or
Right.
hourly or a mantra, which I suppose is why mantras work, because when I'm like, okay, be here now, pause and breathe, whatever it is, that allows my body to go, oh yeah, I know how to do that. And and it hijacks that anxiety path that cortisol wants to drive me into.
Well,
So
and I think too, it's like building a muscle.
yeah,
The repetition, it takes, that when you've done things multiple times, it gets easier.
yeah.
And that's the,
And we get the support, right?
exactly.
I think as soon as the cosmic forces and an infinite intelligence and universal love, however you want to define the higher energy or the collective energy, it gets it that we're like, oh, she's serious now. Okay, we've got your back.
Right.
And they provide that wind under our wings thing. So,
And then just recognize that when you create things from joy, it creates more joy. When you create things from gratitude, it creates more, like it
and when you
starts.
create things from fear,
I know.
I know, which we do, we make decisions a lot because we're running from what we don't want to feel. And so
Right.
really checking in and going, how can I turn this into a loving, this is the best thing for me, for my life, for my family, for the collective. And I feel like we've got to start really doing those pauses to redirect and to step into our determination in a way that we're driving from here, not from here.
Right. It's dropping back into the heart and the sacral. Now, this is the physiology of the sacral plexus. So for those of us that are, that's how our body moves. So if we feel something and it feels delicious, you'll hear it in the tone of our voice, and you'll be like, mmm. Then you know you're onto something. If it's meh, you know the energy, you don't even need to give it a second thought. You drop it, and then you keep moving towards the things that light that sacral up.
Yeah, yeah, lovely. Um, I want to play a little bit with invincibility, which to me, I think I always think of as being one of those like superhero people that, nothing can hurt them. And it's actually very different. One of the things that I thought was fabulous, and I actually wrote this down, is the only true invincibility is emptiness. And so it feels like that Aikido energy we were talking about, that when I'm empty, um, years ago, a friend of mine read a book and she gave it to me called The Empty Boat. And it was about if you're out fishing and you're in your own world and you're, in this quiet space and an empty boat comes to you, you would look at it and go, ah, and you just push it away, right? If a boat with a person in it comes and hits your boat, you'd be like, what's your problem? Didn't you see me? So the whole thing is, can I become the empty boat? And where I don't cause the drama and the conflict and and anyway, I just that has stuck with me because it's a very Aikido kind of term.
Yeah, the energy just moves through.
Hmm.
Um,
I'm not blocking
it's
it or
not trying to fight against. Yeah.
yes, yes, it's not this. It's like, ooh. So,
Yeah,
um,
I love how he says the only force in the universe that's truly invincible is love. And so love only it knows only giving. So it creates a vacuum in which in turn continually floods with more love. So think of love, think of water, think of flooding, think of, void, think of tenderness.
yeah.
It's invincibility.
And that's why I think, they always talk about the mama bear energy. When you love and care for something so deeply, you're also invincible. Like you cannot sleep for days while you're caring for a sick child or a loved one. So I love that. And I want to show the mudra.
Yes, please.
It's a very interesting one. He calls it the warrior mudra. So I don't know if they actually practiced this, thousands of years ago. So you take your middle fingers and you touch them together, and all your other fingers you bend and you touch them at the knuckles. And
Okay.
then you hold your thumbs together. So the knuckles are all touching, and the middle fingers create that little steeple, and you put that in front of your heart. And then contemplate invincibility and emptiness and being loving, right?
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Are we complete?
I think we are. Till next time.